Hello, boys and girls. You're listening to the Wait What If podcast. I'm your host, Kevin Sullivan, speaking, and with me tonight is Savanna Steele and Moses Mitzner. No, I purposely did that weird because what we're going to do is I'm going to play my new thing, but this is new. This is a new thing for me at the Wait What If podcast. So if you just bear with me for a second while I pull this up. Okay, so today's podcast is brought to you by Audible.
No way.
Yeah. Do you guys know Audible? Do you use it at all?
Yeah.
You do?
Oh, yeah.
So you both have an account?
I used to.
I'm too cheap.
So you need a new account,
right?
and you need
Yes.
a new account. Well, I have something to tell you too. So
Free accounts?
yes, well, yeah, you can get a free audiobook download and a 30-day free trial at audibletrial.com.
And there goes your,
Yeah.
your plug.
audibletrial.com/WWI podcast. So if you know my hashtag WWI podcast, and if you know, what is it? My handle on the Twitters, WWI podcast. Is this too loud for anyone? Or are you guys doing good?
I'm okay.
Okay.
I like it. But I'm half deaf, so.
Okay, well that works then. Yeah, if you go to the Audible trial / I'm totally screwing that whole thing up right now. All right, it is audibletrial.com/WWI podcast. If you sign up there, you get a free book. What I did is the last time I took an 8-hour drive up to Jersey, this was a couple weeks ago, I actually got my Audible trial and I downloaded Graham Hancock, Magician of the Gods. 8 hours up, 8 hours back, the book's done.
Right.
I don't have... Go ahead.
Oh, no, I did that when I went to Disney World.
Yeah, it's great.
We did an audiobook the whole way. It was like 12 hours.
Yeah, it goes a lot better. And it's tricky. You got to figure out which type of book you want to... When you like the Fingerprints of the Gods or Magicians of the Gods, it was very detailed. It's Graham Hancock. He goes into like the geology of the world and how he figured out that climate change in 12,800 years ago happened overnight when a comet hit, and there's people that argue against it, whatever. But he's going into all this like Earth geology, and to listen to it, I'd find myself like, 10 minutes later thinking of something else, like what I'm going to have for dinner. And I'm like, and I had to rewind and listen to all that again.
Yeah.
But that's the tricky part about it. But I mean, there's 180,000 books. If you go on there and you just start a 30-day trial, you can pick out any one of those books. You get it for free. And then look, there's 15 hours of pure entertainment for absolutely free. So check it out. It's audible.com/WWI podcast. They also gave me like a thing to read here. So watch. For you, the listeners of the Wait What If podcast, Audible is offering a free audiobook download with 30-day trial to give you the opportunity to check it out, to check out their service. Yeah, so that's the professional way to read it. But yeah, I am now officially sponsored by Audible. And the good thing about this is because I want to update all my equipment, so I'm not doing my podcast via a iPad, and I'm going to get like an actual table and all that. And I figured... Table meaning like, with all the mixers and all that. So
That's cool.
Oh, I thought you meant like a bigger
An
table.
actual
I was
table,
like,
yeah.
that'd be rad.
no, by table, one that has legs that don't shake like this. What I'm going to do is actually going to hire an in-house DJ. He's going to sit in the corner. I'll be like, all right, take it away, DJ. No? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, maybe. All right, we're going to do our intro and then we'll get into it.
You're listening to the Wait What If podcast.
We're about to blow stuff up.
Say we were to walk out in the middle of the woods and find a 50-year-old moonshine bottle.
I think you could drink it.
I think I would drink it.
His mom was probably really controlling and he wet the bed as a kid.
Reminds me of a strip club, actually.
Does it really?
Yeah, this is the champagne.
Ladies and gentlemen, make sure you put the money.
I'm just going to eat this bacon and drink this whiskey.
Be prepared to expand your mind and question your reality. As always, your host, Kevin Sullivan.
All right. Welcome to the Wait What If podcast. We're now official. Before it was sellout.
Yeah.
It was all, your microphone's all messed up, dude. I'm gonna fix this here. There
Thank
we
you.
go. How's yours doing? Yours is doing good?
I think it's good.
If it doesn't fall down,
sound
you're doing a
amazing,
good job.
so-
So.
All right, great. So if you weren't there for the first 30 seconds, I'm talking about it like I'm talking about a freaking Super Bowl last week. If you weren't here for the first 30 seconds, you missed a great time. But at this point, we're officially starting the Wait What If podcast. We have Dr. Savanna. Here's a question. All your handles are Savvy Steel. Do you go by Savvy or is it
No.
Savannah? No, it's just like...
everybody calls me Savanna. Although
Okay.
I used to have people call me Savvy. But
I Googled it to see if I could find something about your podcast or anything like that.
Oh, no.
And there's a porn star
Yeah,
by the
of
name
course.
of Savannah Steele.
there might be a few of them. I know there was a 56-year-old call girl at one point.
Oh, really?
Jeez.
Yeah.
That's funny. Yeah, so I Googled your name, and don't do that, not while you're at work anyways. You got to do something. Like, if you have your podcast, you got to have like a hashtag for, what's the name of your podcast going to be?
I'm going to call it the Biohacking with Savannah podcast.
All right, so...
Which might sound kind of dirty. I hope maybe I should change that because
Biohacking
Savannah
with
just
Savannah.
doesn't. It's
no,
terrible.
that's fine.
Yeah.
It's the biohacking with Savannah. That
I
works.
mean, you're starting out with the biohacking, so
yeah.
that's
Okay.
not
Yeah.
dirty.
All right,
But
good.
now, how can you minimize that into like a like the WWI podcast? Which, if you Google, it's all these World War I podcast stuff. But I'm slowly taking over World War I with my podcast. But I'm sorry. go
Yeah,
ahead.
the listeners are slowly dying off.
Yeah, that's right. They're all dead. There's no
I know,
World War
I
I
know.
people left. One just died like a few years ago, 116 or something.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
That's going to be really young in the future.
That is, and we're going to get into that. This is one of my favorite podcasts, and I think it's some of the listeners' favorite podcasts because every time we go, either they like you, Savannah, or
I mean, who doesn't?
They like the what's that?
I said, who doesn't?
Yeah.
Come on.
Or they like the topics. I like the topics because I think it's all cool stuff. It's totally nerdy and everything, but that's what we're here for. Moses, anything new?
No.
So we just did this whole long talk first, and that's what you're going to contribute just
Yeah,
now.
you're welcome.
All right. How about the Chinese? You fight the Chinese. You have an exciting job. You fight the Chinese
Don't fight the Chinese.
on a virtual warfare battleground.
Oh yeah, security.
Mhm. I pitch you put on your goggles when you get there to work.
Oh yeah,
I have
we're just
my Google Cardboard.
wearing camo when we're at our computer desk there. Just
You go out in the virtual reality and have little virtual sword fights, little
Exactly.
virtual armies.
that would be awesome, actually.
What's new in the world of? Well, can you even talk about it, or is all
Not
this
really.
like it's all like top secret?
Well, I really can't get into too much detail.
Yeah, I
because,
guess you
He
could.
knows too much.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, it's not like
He's like,
there's actually security reasons why I couldn't talk
Yeah.
about
Then
it.
why do you send all your emails on your homebrew? I was trying to make a topical
Yeah, that
reference
was,
to
go
to
on. No.
Hillary Clinton, and I just totally flopped.
Yeah. No, I keep my own email server right next to me.
Yeah.
I just forward everything over and then just send it to my personal email.
Wait, are you serious?
Yeah.
No, you're not serious.
No, I'm not. Yeah.
Wait, are you?
What?
I don't know.
I don't either.
really
It's
confused.
crazy. I know, right?
I honestly, when you talk about like, okay, you don't.
No.
When you do like jokes, I guess, with technology, I'm savvy enough to
Look, I won't go into your doctor's office and start operating on people, and you don't come to my world.
Today I had a woman
wow.
come
He
in.
just basically said, "Get out of my business, buddy."
That's right.
Right.
Well, I have him
Well,
on here
look,
because
I
he's
mean-
the tech guy. Your job
know.
is computers, and we're talking today about the I don't know, all cool things about future and technology. And I thought maybe you could put your 2 cents in, but apparently you're only worth
I
about
mean,
half
you
that.
just like,
so.
well, what have you been doing lately? Well, I've been going to work and coming home and
Exciting life.
Yeah.
Exciting
Working
life.
for the IRS by any chance? 'Cause they
no,
got hacked.
Yeah. Oh, did they?
Did they really?
Yeah. Did you guys hear about that?
No.
Oh, wait.
Like
the-
100,000 people.
like
This is
5 years
terrible.
ago or something? Or
No,
recently?
today. I saw it on my
No, the
finance app.
employees, or are you talking about the database?
They made it sound like taxpayers got hacked, but it was like 100,000 people.
Which isn't that much when you think of it. Well, actually, when
Yeah.
you talk about people actually paying taxes, it's like
Yeah.
majority.
Pretty much 100%.
Well, I heard some where they're actually claiming the taxes. They're doing the tax returns before the people can do it.
I think that's it.
Yeah.
And they said that nobody is going to really be harmed by this, so nobody freak out. But
Yeah, they said that
who
about
knows
the.
if that's true.
Yeah.
I had a top secret clearance and mine was hacked. The what do you call it? Remember the DoD was hacked last year, 2 years
Right,
ago.
right, right.
Yeah, Adam down the road got hacked, but I got a letter like I don't know, just like a month ago, and it was like, oh, by the way. everything about your life from the day you were born to the day you got your security clearance has been hacked. I'm like, oh, great. We'll give you 1 year of free protection with it.
That's
I'm like,
great, yeah.
That's what I got. And I was like, it's kind of, it's interesting though, because, and I think we talked about this last time, we're always talking about the future, right? Where are we going to go with this? And we're starting to be like, it's now. Things are happening now. And probably one of the biggest crimes that are going on right now is all virtual. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
So you can just hack and steal stuff, and it's just...
Well, a lot of the things, like with my company is... Sorry.
There we go.
Is that better?
Yeah.
Okay. So, with my company, like, what'll happen is these hackers and such will get, like, lists of password ID and passwords, because everybody uses the same
one
ones over and over again. So they get these giant lists, and they hit all the financial institutions. They hit them all, and then try and find the combination that works. So now there's things that they use, like things like browser fingerprinting, where they're making sure that you're coming from the same computer. So when you get those questions, like you go to a new computer and you're getting those questions like, hey, where were you born, blah blah blah. That's something saying, okay, you're not coming from the same place you usually come from, so you need to answer this next question.
I always
your ID and password.
I always take my password and I'll mix it up. So like my typical password is Kevin12345, and then my new one is Kevin54321.
Yeah, I've already got all this information.
And then no, that's not really my password. It's out of my banks. So let's talk about the future.
Okay.
What's the first thing we want to talk about? We had a bunch of
there.
That's right. We are already here. Every day, seriously, every time you turn the news, you're like, you got to be kidding me. One of the stories I'm going to bring up is like by 2030, and I was like, my mind automatically goes 2030. Oh, that's so freaking far from now. It's not gonna. We're closer to 2030 than we are to the new millennium.
Yeah,
we're basically we're in the Jetsons.
Yeah.
We're just floating around.
What year was the Jetsons portrayed as, I wonder?
Those old cartoons, it was always like by 1995.
No.
It's probably somewhere around there.
Well, we hit the landmark where we hit the Back to the Future.
Yeah, that was pretty funny, I thought.
Yeah.
Great show.
Everybody had faxes.
Everyone had what?
And faxes in every room.
Yeah. Some of this stuff they got dead on. They had the big flat screen TV, and he was turning the channels just by talking to it, and there was a lot of things.
Yeah.
And the pizza that went in this big and it came out hot.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah. Yeah. So, Savanna, do you want to start? I see you have a big mosquito there. Are we going to start topical?
I tried not to print any pictures because it's a giant waste, but
that's all I learned by his pictures.
All over
I know.
I can't words. I look at a book and I flip through.
Yeah. Numbers. Yeah.
So, okay, we can talk about the mosquitoes first. I don't know if everybody has heard about this thing called the Zika virus.
Yeah.
I heard about it.
To do.
And in medicine, I should be more concerned, but this whole Ebola bullshit.
I think, isn't it like more concerning for women who are pregnant?
Yeah.
Yes.
And then the babies that are born.
That's my understanding. I don't really know what it does to just anybody. Maybe
I think
adults.
The symptoms from what I've heard are kind of like mild, but it's what it's doing to
babies.
Babies is the problem.
Yeah. So, and from what I've heard, children who are born to moms who have the Zika virus kind of have, I believe, what's called microcephaly.
Yeah.
Microcephaly.
Have you seen...
devastating to some extent.
Have you seen... there's like a hair on my mic and it keeps tickling my face. I usually don't feel it because I used to have a beard. Now my beard's gone and it went with all my strength and cut my beard.
Cut that off?
No, I cut it off. I was trimming it and it got too short, and then I tried to mess with it and it was bad. I don't want to talk about it. I'm still mourning.
It's okay.
But no, what we were just talking about, I do this.
Virus.
The virus.
Yes.
I go on
children with microcephaly.
Yeah. So have you seen American Horror Story?
Yes.
Yeah.
The one with
the
Freak
pinheads?
Show? Yeah, pinheads. That's the non-PC term for microcephaly.
Really? Okay.
Wait, which ones?
The people with the little heads.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
That's basically it.
It's kind of devastating, although the pinheads on that show don't seem that miserable. So maybe the children themselves aren't as unhappy as their parents. But at any rate, I think most people don't want to get it. And so how do we solve this problem? Because this is fairly rapidly spreading.
Yeah.
You just make a lot of circuses and have job openings.
Yes, that's one thing.
That
Maybe-
wasn't PC.
No,
Not at
Sorry,
all.
that was bad.
No.
I'm gonna have to edit that one out.
Nope,
Actually,
I'm
we
leaving it
just
all in
lost
there.
a viewer.
I'm looking at our live feed right now. If we're actually live, we switched last week from Periscope and now we're on YouTube. YouTube Live. I just messed up my own mic. Okay, sorry. Continue.
Anyway, so there's a company, this is just one example. There's a company called Oxitec. I think they're based in the UK, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
And what they want to do is release a bunch of mosquitoes of this, genus. I think genus is the right term. I'm not sure.
I'll go with you on that one.
I'm probably wrong. But it's Aedes aegypti, Aedis aegypti, mosquito.
Yeah, I've heard
And they
of it.
want to release a bunch of those. I know, right? You know, the Aedes aegypti.
Yeah, I know, right? Those bastards.
I know.
And they want to release a bunch of them that, I guess, males that will, whenever they, I guess, fertilize females, they'll lead to babies that just can't survive. So all the babies will die. So they think it'll cause them. And they've already actually done this.
Yeah, they said like 90% success rate there.
So they modified the genes, or are these just sucky mosquitoes that reproducing?
Yeah, I think what is like a different genus that is not like when they mate with that kind of mosquito. Is that right?
No, I think they're using that type of genus or species. They're using that type, but they have modified it.
Oh, they have? Okay.
I don't know what technique they've used.
They put little tiny condoms on them.
And we're gonna snip here.
Yeah, they're doing vasectomies. Stupid little mosquito in stirrups. There's some asshole there with a little. Well, so that's. I mean,
close.
it's interesting. It's always one of those. It's a good move, and then like I just read on Reddit, and it was like one of those. Today I learned they took. It was something, and they let it loose in. This is like 100 years ago. Let it loose in Australia. Now they have
Yes,
too many.
the cane toad.
Is that what it is? Yeah.
Well, have you seen the mice? I mean, over in Australia. I mean, yeah, they're
The rodents of unusual size.
Yeah. Yeah. What do they call those? ROSs or something?
Yeah,
like that?
I don't know what you guys are
not real.
talking about.
I know.
I'm so
It's
confused.
Princess Bride.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't.
I know, right?
I'm getting looked at. I'm
So-
sorry.
No.
I'm heterosexual. I'm just kidding. Go ahead. Again, look it.
I know, right?
There's nothing wrong with the.
We just lost another viewer.
Well, I watched it. I guess I remember seeing it. It was
Yeah, I know. Like,
Something about-
football wasn't on, so
Yeah, it was-
there was nothing else there.
punching people, and then I had to take a rest and watched Princess Bride.
Yeah.
So go on. What were you guys
I
getting
don't
at?
know. I was talking about, so no, like the mice without the natural predator have just gone rampant over in Australia. I mean, I saw these videos where they were opening up like the grain beads and it just like waves of mice just coming out.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, and that's the thing. It's like with bringing over all these, these invasive species, they don't have a natural predator. So they just take over.
We have a friend of the show. His name's Damo. I can't remember his last name. He's with the Boondock Brains podcast, which has been on and off. You guys got to get that show back on. But I will have them drop us an email, guys, at Yahoo. I swear to God, whenever I'm not this dumb when it comes to technology, but I turn into my dad with these things, especially when I'm on the air because I have to think quickly. All right. It's Wait What If Podcast
I'm going to get you a phone with
at
like
yahoo.com.
big
Yeah. The jitterbug.
Yeah. Just like one.
Wait What If Podcast at yahoo.com.
We'll call your house.
Drop us a line, Damo. Let us know about these mice.
Call your work.
It's like the little kid ones that you can only do 3
exactly.
things with it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I did hear somebody talking about the mosquitoes and using this technique to
Back to the
get rid
mosquitoes.
of
Yes,
a
go ahead.
bunch of
Focus.
them. And supposedly, mosquitoes aren't really, you kind of get rid of them. This is the thought. I don't know if some sort of brilliant scientists out there might completely disagree with me on this, but I think mosquitoes are one of these species that you can just kind of get rid of, and they don't have, there's not something that they predate that will blow up in number, and there's not something that eats them that will starve.
Right.
Supposedly. Unlike the cane toad, which they've just kind of blown up all over the place, and you can't get rid of them,
Right?
Or whatever this mouse. I didn't know about the mouse, but I remember the cane toads.
Yeah,
So basically, you're saying we can get rid of all mosquitoes.
that'd be awesome.
You don't need those
that
jerks
would be
anymore.
awesome.
They are
Theoretically.
jerks.
I mean, what do they do? I mean, look, they've only been spreading diseases and stuff.
Yeah, they
like
are.
that. I
They've
mean,
killed more people, I think. You ever see that thing that comes out every summer? It's like the deadliest animal in the world is a mosquito.
No
Yeah.
way.
Yeah,
Really?
it's one of them. Yeah, because
Well, in Africa, what is it that they spread?
disease,
Yes, disease.
malaria.
Is it? I think so. Malaria.
Yeah.
I'm a doctor.
I am a physician assistant.
I'm
If you
sorry.
want to
Can you
upgrade
get
me to
your neighbor
doctor,
in?
can I? Oh yeah. Watch out. We do have a new neighbor, and he's a doctor, and he might be a listener. Doubt it. I find anyone that has any education above like 4th grade don't really typically listen to my show. Kevin, why don't you just insult all the friggin' listeners
we
right
lost
now? No, but yeah, that'd be good because I hate mosquitoes. They're idiots. There's nothing good that comes with them, right? They're not going around pollinating anything, right? They just suck your blood and cause little itchy spots. I actually don't. They don't affect me. I get bit and I don't get little itchy. I'm not allergic to them. I'm like one of the few people in the world that doesn't get affected by them.
I think there's something you can eat to cause that. I'm just making this up, but I used to be, I would get bitten or stung or whatever you sucked.
I guess that's what,
by a
you're
mosquito. And
punctured.
Yeah.
Yes, punctured is probably a better word. And I would get giant welts and I would have them for days.
Right.
And something has changed. I don't know what it is, but now I'll have welts all over, and the next day it'll just be completely gone. And I feel like it's my diet. I've just changed my diet, maybe. Okay, I'm making that up. That's
You quit
completely
showering, basically.
I know, yeah.
Like mosquitoes don't bother me and nobody else.
Yeah, it's the saliva or something that we're allergic to, I think.
Yeah, it's something like that.
Yeah.
That's ants, I think, the formic acid that causes.
Well, know something about like when they numb you and then they suck your blood, but it's like I think whatever they use to numb you while they're drinking your blood.
Yeah.
That is what we're allergic to. That gets the red welt.
Same thing with
I could be making that up.
leeches do that too. You don't feel them. They anesthetize you. I have trouble saying that word. Anesthetize you.
Anesthetize.
Yeah. So yeah, that's cool. We can start modifying things.
Well, so that's the thought. But the only thing I have to say is that we don't know what we don't know. And I know, I mean, to say anything negative about GMOs is really considered unscientific. And I understand that, yes, there is no evidence maybe to show that well, I haven't actually reviewed the evidence myself, but I've heard brilliant people say that there's no evidence to show that things like GMOs can actually harm people.
Yeah, so
and
far
that
they're
may be
safe.
true.
Yeah.
That may be true, but I think something to think about is that we don't really know the realm of what we don't know. We can take, which, yeah, I
I'm
guess
thinking about Biggie Smalls, which you don't know, now you know. I can't sing the next part. It's
I don't
sorry,
know
you were
that song.
not quotable for a white boy. It's a great song though, Biggie Smalls. You know that one?
The viewer.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I know, no more. We lost our negative viewer.
I know.
Now
right?
people are like,
yeah. Now we're being banned.
I'm just keeping it real.
right.
Yeah, no.
YouTube has now cut us off.
There's
But-
a great. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
no, I was just gonna say my theory is that that this may actually cause problems. Like we may actually find that some sort of rodent or animal or pestilence blows up because we've gotten rid of the mosquitoes.
Yeah.
But I'm of the belief that we might as well just move forward with these ideas. Might as well. I mean, obviously, we know the Zika virus will blow up and cause major issues.
Right.
And the reason I kind of feel a little bit of hope and confidence in the strategy of just moving forward is because I kind of think that we'll just be able to use the next great technology that we come up with, because we really are, like you said, we are here. We are accelerating in our abilities to come up with solutions to problems, and I think that's going to continue to happen, such that if this does cause a problem, I think we'll be able to solve it. We'll be able to figure out what it is, and we'll be able to solve it. It's very arrogant of me. That's what I choose to
agree.
believe.
I mean, the fact that they came up and said, okay, well, we've got this problem. How do we deal with it? Okay, well, we've got this one kind of mosquito that we can send out. And, and obviously they've tested it to a certain extent. I mean, then they're like, hey, we can roll with this. But
I'm under the notion that even if we did screw things up, and even if we are screwing things up, people are always like, it's not natural, it's not natural. But aren't we natural? Didn't we come from this earth? Everything that we're made out of and it is
How do
from
you
this
define
earth.
natural?
Yeah, so
Yeah, I mean-
like this, technically this iPad is natural. And an organism was raised organically and put it together. Using, I mean, they didn't bring stuff from outer space. All this stuff in this is made from right here on Earth. So technically, it's all
Everything's
natural. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just
Yeah.
the way things work.
well, no, I mean, I can understand. I mean, genetically modifying some plants so that it's more resistant to bugs is good. The only thing that I think could be a problem is you're changing the chemical makeup of it so that it might interact with a person differently than the regular piece of corn. So that's where you kind of have to say,
Oh, yeah.
that I could see legitimate, but I mean, I can see that it makes more sense. I mean, we've got huge population. We've got to feed them. We can't. We have to go down this road one way or the other.
I
So-
agree. I agree.
Side note of science, people who have sickle cell anemia or sickle cell trait are naturally immune to malaria.
Oh, yeah. That's why. I think that's...
Yeah, because they stay alive. They didn't die off in Africa because they could.
Okay.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
that is. Yeah, that's your little gee whiz moment for the day. Let's keep on with what's that?
Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, let's keep on with Australia. There was another article that I found that I thought was pretty cool. So we're starting to hear a lot about exoskeletons. And it's I remember like 10 years ago they were talking about it and that the army was going to use them and they're going to be running on the battlefield, and you still don't see it yet, but you're starting to see these little suits for people who are paraplegic, quadriplegic. They're getting up and walking around. I imagine they got to be tricky because you got to figure out how to manipulate them. I mean, what do you do? Have a remote control? Does it hook into the neural impulses of your legs? So there's another Australia. You're getting all the props tonight. There's another company in Australia that is coming up with a brain implant, size of a paperclip. They put it in your head, and let me read what it says here. It helps help paralyzed patients walk. What does it say here? It subconsciously controls exoskeletons. So from what I gather is they map your brain and find out, like when I want to move my legs subconsciously, I move my leg, I get up and I walk. They'll map that area of your brain that's triggered by that. And then this little device is put into your brain. And then when you start thinking about that, it automatically starts moving the exoskeleton. So it's literally hooked up to your brain.
That's awesome.
Right.
That's pretty cool. It starts next year, I think.
Yeah,
The
I've
trials.
heard of that. I saw something with, like a hand. They were doing that where it was hooked up, and like he was using his mind to actually manipulate things.
Yeah, and they have feeling on them too. Those
do they
things.
really?
Yeah. What they do is they run your nerves, so they can map your nerves to, say, your fingertips, your index finger. Well, if you lose your arm, it's still up here. It's still, the nerve is there. They just have to find it.
Yeah.
And when they find it, they hook up little, say like a chip there that can sense heat, sense pain, sense cold, and they wire that through the fingertip there. So the bionic fingertip or whatever it is, that fake one,
can still feel.
can touch something
That's pretty
hot
cool.
and it triggers heat on the end of that little thing up here by your shoulder. And then you feel heat and you can feel pressure and all that.
Would you need to feel pain?
Probably not. Yeah. Cause pain is a evolutionary protectionary thing.
Right.
So you'd be like a superhero.
That is a word. Protectionary.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, you could do whatever and not have to worry about it. I mean,
Be super strong too. I bet they could make them pretty
Reach
strong.
into
right?
boiling water and grab stuff and crush it.
Who hasn't wanted to do that?
Yeah. Let me get that. Just a rock.
I don't need a spatula.
I had a friend who lost one leg in Iraq, and
It got serious really quickly.
no, this is cool. His left.
It was cool. No,
Yeah.
Go on.
His left leg was, obviously it was a tragic thing, but his left leg was all messed up. So his right leg had a prosthetic on there, and it worked fine. Obviously, it's a prosthetic, and that was actually became his good leg. His bad leg was the one that was still banged up. So he had elective surgery to remove his other leg, and he gave himself like 4 inches. So I ran into him, and I'm like, dude, he looked like a linebacker. And he's like, yeah, I got 2 legs now, and he just jacked it up. So he went from like
Nice.
5'10" to 6'3".
Yeah.
Yeah, isn't that pretty cool?
Working out. Well, no. Just upgraded.
Hey, life throws you lemons. Fuck the lemons and bail. Remember that? That was
No,
on.
dude. Was that not? That wasn't on The Princess Bride. So
Forgetting
I'm not
Sarah
familiar.
Marshall.
I know, that's
Forgetting
the one
Sarah
movie I know.
Marshall.
Okay, I like that movie.
Did you ever see that movie?
No.
It's hysterical. Have you seen
I
it?
saw parts of it.
Paul
and
Rudd?
I couldn't do it.
What? Really?
Yeah. No.
Well,
Well, I guess
Princess Bride. Yeah, you're officially off the air.
Look,
now.
there's certain ones that are classics, man.
Yeah. Okay. Anyways, so yeah, that was pretty cool.
So speaking of like having robot arms that can touch and feel things,
Yeah.
Right.
they've actually also been able to figure out how to get robots to be able to pick up like eggs and things that are kind of delicate. So the first thing I'm thinking of is I hope that somebody right now is figuring out a robot that can give massages. Because I think it would be awesome to get a weekly. I don't know.
No, I know what you're saying,
To me,
though.
it's very important because I think it's good for health.
In your house.
Yeah, so I could just rather than having to go pay $80 to have somebody massage my back and then all the awkwardness, of, having this complete stranger, I just have my house robot do it for me.
Totally.
There you go.
Total. Well, yeah. I think you're onto something. We're gonna have robot butlers and stuff at some point.
Have you seen that show Humans?
No.
No,
Oh yeah, no. Okay, well, never mind. No, it's about basically,
it's an interesting story.
yeah, no, it's about like androids, stuff like that. Anyway, if you haven't seen it,
sounds
it
really
doesn't
cool.
matter. So, anyway. No, but
Nerd alert.
no, just be over here if you need me.
So I think it's funny how you said the awkward thing about when I rode my bike across the country, and the company we were with had masseuses,
Masseurs?
masseurs, thank you, come in like
Wait, that's a French word, I think.
Monsieur, who come in every night and give us massages on our back. And like, so we might be 12 hours on the bikes. We'd be really messed up at the end of the day. And the first couple of weeks I was just like, cause I wasn't used to getting massages all the time. By the end, I would like walk into the hotel and just vroom, 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 right down in my underwear and be like, all right, let's do this. Absolutely no, after your 60th day of it, there was no awkwardness whatsoever. Yeah. Good story, Kevin. All right. Did you bring any articles to the table? You got anything?
Oh, you just gave me the stuff that we were going to be talking about
Yeah.
today. So,
Give us something. What do you got?
I was just going over the articles that you told me to read up on.
Did you see
We
how
already talked about
Did you see how there's so you didn't do your homework. It's okay. It's cool.
I did.
Did you see how there was a robot fight outside of one of the Marco Rubio election places?
No, they've got they're trying to make like an actual robot fight. Like I think United States and Japan are.
Yeah, it's called Rock'em Sock'em Robots. I had it when I was a kid.
No, I'm serious. They're actually building.
Really?
Yeah, like big robots to fight
With
like
arms and stuff? And
Yeah, I don't know if they're gonna have arms, but I mean, not like those little toy ones where they have,
I don't think I would be
rolling around.
interested in that. I'll tell you why. So boxing, I love boxing. I love fighting. Can't do it anymore because my neck is like a pretzel rod. It's so broken. But
Just replace it with robotic parts.
Eventually, that'd be nice. But there's something about so fighting is one thing, but when you train to get yourself to the level of being able to go 3-minute rounds for boxing, 3-minute rounds, or even MMA, where you're doing 3-minute rounds or 5-minute rounds, I mean, it just adds a whole new level. So you got to get to that level of being physically fit. Then you also have to have a good fighting game. You have to be skilled in fighting, and you have to be tough. And if you just design a robot to do that, I wouldn't watch that. It's kind of dumb.
No, I agree.
Have you seen Creed?
No.
Have you heard of Creed?
The music
No.
Yes.
band,
No.
the musical band.
That's all I remember. Creed. They whined a lot.
Oh God.
No, the movie with Sylvester Stallone. And
Yeah, it's like
Michael
like
Jordan.
his son or something like that.
No, it's Apollo Creed's son.
Oh, that's right.
But it's great. It's a good boxing movie. I just brought it up. It's just the way my mind works. We were talking about it's topical. It was a new movie out there. Nothing. Okay. So, man was killed by a meteor in New Delhi, I think it was.
I heard something like it wasn't a meteor.
Well, they don't know yet.
Okay.
He was, get this.
Was there a plane going over?
Well,
Because that's not an asteroid.
well, here's the thing.
Somebody just threw a rock out the
Yeah,
airport
no.
window-
You know that
airplane
they
window.
drop the blue stuff.
we
out
used to shoot stuff out of our airplane. we had this thing on the top of our airplane called a sextant port, and it was basically a hole, and you opened it up and you put a sextant in there so you could shoot celestial navigation. We never used it.
Celestial navigation.
Yeah, old school. In an airplane, U.S. Air Force airplane, we had celestial navigation things you could shoot, find out where you are by looking at the sun or the moon or different points. Yeah. So we had this hole up there, and we would like fly over little villages or whatever and just shoot like Snickers bars out. Or
You serious?
yeah, we thought we were being cool, and we probably ended up whacking people on the
That's
head.
what I'm
with a
saying.
Snicker bar.
So many
He
people
was
are
impaled
dead.
by a Snickers bar.
200 miles. The Americans that are shooting Snickers bars at us.
They think it's a joke.
We did.
Go into a drugstore and just start crying.
we did. You know those little plastic army men with the.
Yeah.
You throw them up and they get a
like
little
from
parachute.
Toy Story.
Yeah. So we would, the ones you throw up and they would actually come down on a little parachute.
Yeah.
So we'd take those and launch them out.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, at least I had a parachute coming down, so like that little
slow it down a little bit.
Holding down, it wouldn't impale them.
Yeah. No.
This is how my tax dollars are being paid.
Yeah. We used to do that. We used to, if we got in formation, we would take our food and like eggs and shoot them out and hope to try to hit the airplane behind us. Yeah, we did a lot of cool stuff like that.
Block his vision.
Yeah. You can't
Went
see.
right through the shield.
Idiot.
The window.
Yeah.
Held in his forehead.
So no, this meteorite, they're examining it right now, but some dude was just hanging out it was an engineering college, and everything just exploded randomly. And then they found and this guy who's standing by got killed by shrapnel. And then it made a 5 foot wide and deep crater.
Oh, wow.
And they pulled out a little piece of blue metal, and they're trying to figure out what it was. When I was looking up articles to talk about today, I was completely blown away by that. The odds, like what, you can't do anything about that.
I know.
You can I jog so I don't get a heart attack, or I eat right.
Yep.
If you're killed by a freaking meteor, what?
You can't do anything about that until we can download our consciousness to the cloud. And then you can do something about it because, okay, that body died, but I can just upload my consciousness to another body.
If he was a robot or something like that. But I think this guy was just...
yeah, but you
no,
can't
I'm just
play
saying
the
that
hand.
right
It's
now,
like,
we still can't do anything about that.
We've got like, on the weather alert, we've got meteors coming by. Want to go indoors and make sure you've got some steel above your head. It's like...
Yeah.
There was a politician of New Delhi that offered the family money, and it said in the article, the family was constipated. The family was
They're very upset.
What's that word I'm looking for? Help me out here. Compensated.
Not helping you.
I went to grad school.
Did you?
I went to grad school.
Very nice.
I prescribe medicines to people.
No. Hopefully they're not watching.
I actually approach people at my office with sharp blades and medicines and needles, and I can't say compensated, but anyways, they compensated this family because, and the quote was, because he was hit by a meteorite. So apparently in New Delhi, if you get hit by a meteorite,
Your
They give you
family
money.
gets
you get
constipated.
paid.
They have actually an insurance for that.
So there's always that, yeah. Meteor insurance.
Yeah.
So there's always that, I guess. But what was before we got into the robot thing, yeah, some guy was dressed up like a robot. I thought it was funny outside of one of the Rubio headquarters. Because remember, he kept repeating everything over and over again, and they called him the robot. And there was a big scuffle. And then it just made me laugh because if you're dressed up in a costume and you get in a fight with someone, even if you win, you still look like an asshole because you're dressed up in a costume. Right. You know what I mean? You still have to like pick up all your, like in the picture, his helmet came off and it showed him like he was picking up all his pieces that were all over the place. And so you still have to walk away from that fight, picking up all your costume pieces. Like, oh, kicked his ass.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw one thing
didn't
where
think
this
that
guy
through.
was picking a fight with a guy dressed up as Batman and was kicking his butt.
Batman was kicking the guy's butt?
No.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
what
see?
made it really funny.
Yeah. So, Designer Babies. Oh, yeah. What else you got?
I like Designer Babies. We could talk about that.
Let's do that. I want to hear
do
about
that.
Designer Babies. I think that's going to start being a huge issue. I
Well,
think.
sadly, if you actually read the article, unfortunately.
Yeah, I got to the end of it. I realized
Yeah, it's really kind of not about that. So there's a group, I think the UK has allowed whatever group it was that wanted this this privilege to be able to modify, I believe, embryos.
Right.
But then they can't do anything with those modifications. They can't implant them and actually cause them to lead to actual babies or anything like that. So there's no designer babies yet.
They're taking them from single cell to 250 cells, and then they have to stop it or something.
Yeah, boring.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's make this monster.
Well, there's huge ethical implications there. And I'm surprised they're actually letting them do it.
Really?
Yeah, because, I mean...
Look, I mean, yes and no.
Well, I would think the religious people would be up in arms, saying no way.
Well, yeah, but I mean, also when you talk about people who have genetic tendencies to diseases
Yeah.
and stuff like that. I mean, look, if we have the ability to, there's the potential to, go off the deep end and make a perfect person or whatever. But
Well, wait, what's off the deep end about that? I mean,
Well, at the same
I
time,
would
exactly.
be jealous of that person. Don't get me wrong. I
Well-
would wish that I was that person, but at the same time, I don't really.
you know what? I mean, that's the thing too. It's like, is it really bad for us to
Kevin got so mad he left.
design our own evolution, basically?
What's that?
And we're designing our own evolution. I mean, that's the thing. It's like, making ourselves stronger, faster, blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah, and being able to survive harsh conditions,
Yeah.
go on to different planets and stuff like that. Like I was saying with Kevin about like going into Mars or something like that, you'd have to possibly, well, I guess you could probably adapt, but.
So I mean, that part I don't care. Like, if that's all it was, if you could just design a kid to be smarter, good looking, faster, everything.
They already designed me. Am I right, people?
No.
Sorry. Go ahead.
Go on. Sorry.
But if you could do that, I would have no problem with it. I mean, I'm not going to say that that's all that there is to the story, because I don't think we even know what, if we were to make a tweak to the genes that we know lead to high IQ, I don't think we really know what other kinds of off target effects might happen. I don't think we know about that yet. Maybe,
Right.
I don't know, maybe some geneticist knows a ton, but my suspicion is that we don't really know what would happen. So that's the only problem that I have. And I kind of don't even really have that problem.
Yeah, it's like, he's smart, he can run real fast, but he's got a tail.
Which would be awesome.
Yeah,
I
actually.
know, right? My balance is fantastic.
Is that a tail in your pocket?
I used to wish that I had a
Yes.
tail when I was a kid.
Really?
I really
Really?
wanted it. You know when you want weird things for yourself when you're a kid?
No.
No.
Yeah.
I really wanted a horse's tail. Like I would put like a towel.
hey.
Yeah, I know. Sorry.
It's all good. No, go ahead. No, share.
You wanted a horse's tail.
Yeah, I really. I
Yeah.
don't know. Nobody else wanted anything weird like that. Didn't
Of
you want
course.
wings? Like I know I have nieces who want to
Yes.
have like butterfly wings and stuff. I know both of you wanted a pair of fairy wings.
Absolutely. I did want to.
I wanted to make I had a radio flyer, and my neighbor and I spent time putting cardboard wings on it. Like literally, we were like, oh, we got to shore it up with this. I thought in my head that it was going to fly. I was like, yeah, this will fly. I was like thinking about where we're going to fly it around to, and I didn't think about landing because, of course, that would be difficult. But yeah, I was all set.
Yeah, we tried to build
So that's
it.
what I wanted to do. I didn't care
And
about
you
it.
did it.
Yeah, well, yeah,
Yeah,
but
no.
it didn't actually fly.
No.
Didn't
Eventually.
actually.
Sorry.
Very big disappointment when we
that's
realized
great.
just the wings kind of fell back.
Well, it was
as
a
we rolled
lesson
down the
we
hill.
learned that, life sucks.
Well,
Yeah.
you could download your consciousness to the cloud.
Or get
Yeah.
a Google Cardboard. I did a flying game. It was pretty cool. Really makes your head spin.
That's awesome. What can I put like a S5 in that?
Yeah, S5.
See, I couldn't fit mine into. I got one of
Where'd you
these
get
things.
that, by the way?
I got that on. So Google Cardboard is like a what do you call that? Open source. So the plans are available, and companies just follow the plans, and you can buy different ones. And that one was like $5. I don't remember the name of the company.
Okay.
But yeah, it's just a little cardboard. And I was looking, I was like, I want to get one. And I looked, and there's plastic ones out there, ones that mold to your face, and they're like $50, $80. This thing costs like $5, and
See,
well, your case is too big.
Yeah, the
Thanks.
case.
Oh, I feel like an idiot.
That could be it. That's
Do
an
you-
that's an S5, right?
It's an S5. Yeah.
It's
Do you have
not
an
a
S5?
Note. Yeah, somewhere. I've lost it 3 times already tonight. Oh, back here.
I don't want
So
to take this
it's-
case off.
Is that the same one?
Yeah, same thing.
Here, you want to do it on air? Let me get a VR thing for you. This is probably really not interesting
Yeah,
for
I kind of do actually.
for individuals who are. So what Savannah's gonna. Let's just go into
before,
that.
and I almost fell backwards. I had it was like a roller coaster. It was a roller coaster.
It was a roller coaster of emotions.
And it goes up this way, and I went up with my head, and I almost fell backward. There was a guy, like whenever I took it off, he was standing right,
Just like,
yeah, was waiting for me to fall down.
All right, so I'm firing up. This one is called Zombie Shooter or something like that.
nice.
And you're gonna go down. viewer detected.
I'm so glad that nobody can see what I'm going to be looking at, because if this is a game,
If you're on YouTube,
see your reactions.
if you go to the YouTube channel for Wait What If, I don't have an actual URL yet because you have to get verified and all this. But basically, if you Google or if you go on YouTube and just put in it's not working. All right. If you put in Wait What If podcast, it'll come up. You'll see
the
all
cardboard works.
Yeah, the cardboard works.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's not working. It's just showing me why. I don't know why it's not firing up.
All right.
Lame.
Well,
Yeah,
while
so
we're
go
waiting
on.
for
Yeah,
that,
I know this could be a while.
I want to talk about cryopreservation.
Yes, I do
Okay.
too. I saved some stuff, but go ahead. Yeah.
So I think you actually sent an article a while back about a new company that, and it sounded like what the technology that they were going to be providing is a body.
Oh, really?
Do you remember?
Yeah, I remember sending it to you, but then I couldn't find the link. I thought I texted it to you.
They
and I
had
couldn't find-
very little information available on that. I
Okay.
went and I did some research, which basically took me 5 minutes because there was really nothing available. And I can't even remember the name of the company. I wish I could. But yeah, essentially what they wanted to provide was a body. And they said they were going to use artificial intelligence to have, I guess, the body react to your brain that they were going to put into it or
Okay.
whatever.
But you know what? I never thought of that. All these people with frozen heads, someone was like, you know what? They're going to need bodies. Let's
yes.
jump on that one.
Oh, okay. But yeah, but
but
isn't there was a problem with freezing where isn't there some kind of still that you get degradation in it?
Yeah. Yes.
Sure,
There
yeah.
has been. Thank you. That's,
Oh, you're
that's a,
welcome.
really,
That's
that's a
what
good
I'm sorry.
question. And that leads me to the current article.
Okay, go.
Which apparently
No homework.
this so what they've been doing, a lot of different companies, a lot of different researchers have been looking into figuring out how to freeze and what they call it is vitrify organs and brains and whatever they can in hopes that they will be able to, whenever they thaw it, it'll still be functioning and be preserved essentially. And that's kind of been the holy grail. Nobody's been able to do it.
Yeah, because it destroys. I mean, just by freezing it in the whole act. Plus, they don't just put in water and freeze it. They use different chemicals, and they're trying to find a way to. The brain works. You need all those neurons to be linked up just right. So you don't want a near perfect. You don't want. Hey, we were reasonably able to thaw. No, you want it to be thawed perfectly. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. So, well, they kind of have. They think they have. So this outfit was able to freeze or vitrify, I should say, a bunny brain.
Yep. It was on Vice. I think Vice had the article.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah. And I guess they have these groups that come by and take a look at how they take a look at whether or not it's valid, whether or not this actually happened according to, and they're kind of, these other groups are kind of verifying that you freeze this brain appropriately, or at least that's my understanding.
Yeah, they actually had little pictures of it too. They pumped the chemical in through their not jugular vein, the carotid arteries.
Really?
Yeah, and they have it go through the. So apparently, whatever this chemical is, it doesn't expand. It doesn't. It's able to be frozen at a near glass state. So you take a brain, and when it's done, it's like a cold piece of glass. And then they were able to thaw it with. And again, they used in the article. They said with near perfection. I'm like,
What does that mean?
yeah.
Well, you lose your R's.
Yeah.
They called it aldehyde stabilized cryopreservation.
Oh yeah, that.
Anyway, yeah, I mean, I think this is kind of cool. I mean, maybe it's only a step along the path, but I feel like we're getting there. We're getting to the point where I'm going to feel much more comfortable about freezing my head.
Are you going to freeze it?
Yeah.
Probably cost a lot.
Actually,
Well,
no,
yeah.
it's not. So there's a company called, they've been around since the 70s, called Alcor. And I have a friend who's not, exorbitantly wealthy at all. And I hope she's not listening. And she has a,
I have this friend that just,
she's broke.
man, you should see her dumpy place.
No,
Anyway,
I
she can
actually
do it.
don't know. I don't think she's poor, but yeah, she's not hugely wealthy, and she has a subscription or a lifetime, whatever, to Alcor.
You would hope it would be lifetime.
No, yeah, well, it is.
Is it
30
just the head
years.
though?
And she told me, yes, she said just the head. And I used to think, why would you do the head? You want to do the whole body. But now it kind of makes sense. You would just do your head, because by the time you get to whatever, whenever they decide to unfreeze you, there probably would be there would be some company that would provide you a nice bionic body that ideally looks exactly like Margot Robbie.
You'd probably be better
Is that
off
who the person
uploading
is?
your consciousness into the cloud.
Did you just give up her name?
No, Margot Robbie is like a famous actress.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just lost your straight man's card.
What movie was she on? Oh, The Princess Bride.
No, she's famous. She's
Margot
gonna
Robbie?
be in. Yeah, there's a good movie that's coming up. I don't know if it's good or not. It hasn't been released, but it's The Suicide Squad.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, I want to see that.
Yeah, me
that
too.
looks awesome. Is she the?
She's the crazy Harlequin.
That's right.
Harley
Oh
Quinn.
yeah. Okay.
Sounds interesting.
It is actually. Well,
Have you
looks
seen
cool.
Revenant?
No, The Revenant.
We talked about it last podcast. It's awesome. Would you say two? You saw it twice?
No, you talked about it twice.
I know, it's the greatest movie. I think it's finally a man movie is made. And I don't mean, I sound really sexist during this
Yeah, that was
episode, but
terrible.
no, you know what I mean? Like
know,
when I
like,
grew
only
up,
I wish a
men watch
woman
it.
movie would be funny.
there's
Well,
plenty.
there was no baking in it.
Plenty.
So no, this is what I mean by that. When I was younger, in my
You
younger
really have
days,
a hole to dig yourself out of.
yeah, you know how guys we like to quote movies and stuff, like just random movies. You know how we do that?
Yeah, guys
I guess-
do that.
Well, but all right, I take all that back. I've been waiting for a
Wait, I
good,
actually want to hear the point.
I want to hear
No,
a
not
good
really
gender
going.
neutral movie to be out. Anyways, no, it was just a good, like, I guess women would like it, but it was, it's a guy movie. It's a guy flick.
I'm
There's
so
so many
offended.
chick flicks out there. But hey, there's some chick flicks I like.
You've got mail. I know
No.
you love
No,
that.
he
thinking
likes
of one.
like 50 Shades of Grey.
No.
You like them all.
Nurse
dude.
Jackie.
He likes that
I've
one
been
with the
watching
Tatum
Nurse Jackie.
guy.
I really like that show. Have you seen
seen
it?
it.
No.
It's good. Oh, that was good. Anyway.
See what that feels like?
I had a thought about that. Tell me this wouldn't be terrifying. So your brain, when they freeze your head, I assume they're taking your brain out and freezing it, or they just
No, I
freeze the whole
think
thing. Really, just chop it off and freeze
That's
it.
kind of what I thought, but now
that would make sense.
So, yeah,
well, no,
ridiculous.
the brain is very fragile. Like people don't realize that, but your brain has the consistency of Jell-O. So if you put your hand inside of an actual living brain, you would just go.
Really?
Yeah. It's very soft and squishy.
Because I touched a pig brain when I was in high school,
It'd
and I
probably
remember
been-
not thinking that about it.
Probably was set. Probably set
weird
in
thing
like
to
they have a way to set a brain. But no, if you
Oh,
take
yeah,
a
that makes
fresh delicious
brain.
brain, yeah, a nice wonderful brain.
Get some
Yeah, it's very squishy. Yeah, so I was thinking like,
Was there a point to that, or
No.
why? What did I do?
was it talking about jello-y brains?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, no, because
Where
the
were
brain,
we?
I'm thinking you would have to take the head off.
Yeah.
Because the brain would just
the brain would just,
liquefy
like,
if you
fall.
tried to do something with it.
Maybe if they vitrified it first and then they
Well, it's preserved
extracted it from
still.
the head.
Yeah. Huh?
I guess it's still preserved.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you keep it in the head, it's in its own little carrying case.
Yeah.
That's what I do with my brains.
Right. I take them everywhere.
They haven't caught me yet.
Most of the time I take them with me. Sometimes I
So
forget it.
I was thinking about this, right? Suppose they take the brain and in like 1,000 years, they fire them up. Okay.
Yeah.
But they don't do it right, or they don't think you're really living. They're trying to just do experiments on it. And next thing you know, you have thoughts, but you don't have eyes, you don't have ears, you don't have limbs. You're just all of a sudden conscious. And you're like, and then you know how you have phantom pain? Well, people who lose limbs have phantom pains. What if you just have phantom pains just widespread throughout your body? Like you're on fire, or and then here you are as a brain conscious. You can't communicate, you can't talk, but you know you're there, and you're in excruciating pain from your
we'll hook them
head
all
to
up
toe.
and like have some giant hive mentality thing going on.
You just ruined my whole scary story.
That was like the most positive thing I've heard.
What if that? So that's why I was thinking maybe I don't want my brain to be frozen. Because what if that happens? You never know. They could end up experimenting with you, and you.
When are they going to wake you up? I mean, look.
1,000
I mean,
years.
you said
Whenever
it was
they-
very inexpensive for her to freeze her brain. But what is? I mean, to say that it's going to be inexpensive to create a body and put her mind back into the body.
That'd probably be expensive.
That's what I'm saying. So I mean, at what point? Who's going to pay for that? Her kids.
Well,
kids,
I mean,
kids,
it might be
kids?
inexpensive because it might be.
Well, yeah, we'll just do a 3D
inexpensive. 'Cause, like,
printing.
Yeah, well, yeah, dude. You can
Who
have
is
3D
gonna do
printing,
that?
and it's going to be some sort of AI that figures out all the how to configure everything. And
Well,
it's
who
not- you
says
don't even
we're
have to
ready?
have
Let's
human
let's
labor.
wake them all up.
That's a good point because
we don't have it yet.
You're going to outlive everyone.
But I mean, what's the incentive for the company? I mean, is there like something where it says
They want to
like,
live themselves. I think they're just people who are dedicated to living forever.
Well, no, I mean, like, okay, you pay somebody like, hey, you know, when they get the technology, freeze my brain and then wake me up.
I got it. This is how it'll happen. One person invents a doomsday machine. And to turn off the doomsday machine, you have to have the code that's in your brain that you've memorized. And so when you die, you're like, you best wake me up in 1,000 years or the Earth's going to die.
Well, here's the thing. It's like,
and then you do the next one. When that guy dies, he's like, you better wake me up in 1,000 years. And
wait, what's the doomsday machine going to be?
I don't know. I just made it up on the top of my head.
no,
so
I'm just like,
Yeah.
$50. I'll put your head in the freezer. And when their technology comes out, I'll wake you up.
Yeah.
You know, who's going to hold you to that?
You don't want to put the microwave on high. You want to put it on defrost.
I know you slowly want to. Yeah, you would take them out, put them on the counter for a couple of hours.
You don't want to cook
first,
the
and
outside
then-
first. You want to get a nice.
Your offspring will make sure.
Yeah, but
that's to say you have.
So we all
offspring.
have to have
1,000 years
children.
from now.
Well, that's
So
why
mine
they're
are
going
gonna
to
have
care.
Zika virus.
You know, it's like my
It's terrible.
grandfather's. You know,
Yeah, but why you? Why would they want to? You know what I mean? Like, who am I? Am I that narcissistic that I think in 6 generations someone's going to be like, "Hey, remember that caveman great grandfather we had?"
Yes,
Yeah, exactly.
I think they'll be bored because they're going to have everything. They're going to be hooked up to the cloud, and so they're going to be able to go through all the experiences in life within minutes, within seconds. And so they're going to be bored. They're going to want to wake up their ancestors. They're going to want to have conversations with you.
If they could upload,
they're going to see this podcast and be like, "I want to actually talk to that person in real life."
They do that in Futurama.
Actually, what if they watch this podcast and are like, "Ooh, let's just throw him away.
Yeah.
we don't want to thaw him out. We know what's going on there."
Well, after what you said about female,
Oh no,
movies.
it was Polly Shore. Put him back.
No, all right. So, how come? Here's a question: how come you say chick flick and that's okay? You can go on chick flick. Oh, we saw a chick flick. I
Wait
say
a second. How
guy
is that
movie.
okay? How
I
is
don't
it
know.
okay to say chick flick?
I don't know. People say it all the time. All right, maybe it's not okay, but it's
I'm
become.
saying it's not okay when you
Could
say
you
it.
call a woman a chick?
Do I call a woman a chick? When I was like 19.
That's what I'm saying. But it was considered derogatory.
But I mean, people say
married,
chick flick, right?
No,
so like if
nobody
you go,
says it.
if you go, my wife watched this last night, or we watched this last night. Was it good? It was a chick flick, right? Okay, is it sexist? Yes, but I mean, it's not a term. You don't say it in that sexist tone. You say it in the movie. You know, when I say chick flick, you know exactly what it is. You got Matthew McConaughey doing something stupid with.
I can't stand that guy.
My friend loves him.
Oh, can't stand.
Although he's got away from the chick flick. He's been on some great movies.
Interstellar, I thought was supposed to be
awesome.
pretty good.
Yeah.
I couldn't stand
too much
that.
for
Oh,
men.
you know what? No. It was like, let me just do Morse code on this thing. I'm in this dimension. I mean, the science, some of it was practical, and then some of it was like,
Well, they call it science fiction.
no,
So-
but they were trying to be like.
He's
accurate.
watching ET and he's like, "There's
They
no
were
way
like,
ET's
there's
finger would
there's all
glow."
these articles that were
His
like,
finger can't glow.
This science is really, is really on point. And I'm like, I don't know.
I thought I heard somebody kind of brilliant say that it was good, but that like the science is sound.
Some of it was sound, and then, but also it's like.
But when Matthew McConaughey says anything, you kind of loses
Well, that's
a
what
lot
I'm saying.
of credibility.
Yeah. No,
Sorry, I shouldn't say that. It's negative.
I agree. It's okay. About
No, did you
Matthew,
see-
you can say
He's
anything
hot,
you want.
So hot, I shouldn't say that.
Did
about
you
him.
see?
Ah, well,
Did you see
apologize.
True Detective? Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Yeah, True Detective. Great. Oh man, that was a good one. The one with McConaughey and the other dude,
Woody
Harrelson.
That's a series, right?
Yeah, it's
I haven't
really
seen it.
good.
I heard it was good though.
Yeah, you
I
watch it and
couldn't do it.
you're just stuck into
I don't
it.
like that guy.
Who? Which one? Did McConaughey?
McConaughey.
Well, you gotta. I mean, you gotta put that aside when you try to watch this one because it's well worth it. Yeah. So let me go through see what else we have here. This one they said by 2030. Again, 2030. Oh, it's so far away. 14 years from now.
It's not far away.
No, not at all.
My kids are so young, but by the time 2030 comes, they still can't drive.
I'm gonna be like 30 years old.
Again.
That was really lame.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's all right. You know how many lame jokes are in here? I'm just going live. I'm not editing this time.
Yeah, no, that's.
So I got to
probably
go
a good
through.
idea.
Apparently, I was being naughty tonight. I don't know. So
Nah.
they say the peripheral devices, which I think is a bullshit way to say, because we're not going to have peripheral devices in 14 years. I don't think like we have them now, like, laptop or iPads.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think. I mean, I don't know
Hopefully
what they're going to
not.
do. We'll have like maybe little contact lenses or something like
Just be able
that.
to go through in our heads.
But they said that they're going to be able to read our thoughts. And again,
Oh,
it's science
yeah.
fiction or
I
whatever.
like
But
that.
I think this was on that sheet thing there. That's Graham Hancock is part of the collaborative that puts out that.
I saw that.
Yeah. But yeah, they say that, again, they'll map your brain almost like they would map. So it'd be like, they put electrodes on there and they say, look at the color blue, and they map where blue comes out. And they play a song by Pearl Jam and they map where that comes out. What?
Jefferson Starship. Sorry.
Oh, I was like, Starship Troopers, good movie.
No, I was just thinking
Wait,
I
what?
wanted my passcode to be "We Built This City," but okay.
Oh, that song gets stuck in your
because
head
it's
so easily.
it's only the best song ever.
Oh, terrible song. But they'll map that area.
Saying
and
that because I'm a girl, aren't you?
It's a chick song. So they'll map that section of your brain, and then when you think about the song, the thing can pick it up. And I don't know how. I mean, it says here, let me think. Electronics will be able to examine brain activity to see what we're thinking. One of the side effects of that, though, of course, was would people be able to hack your thoughts?
Right.
I like it. I mean, I don't like the idea of people being able to hack my thoughts, but I do like the idea of being able to think my password. And the fact that I think the article didn't say that even if somebody else knows your password, like if somebody else knew We Built This City and they thought the same thing, because they think it differently from me,
Yeah.
they still couldn't get into my account.
Makes sense.
Right.
Like, we don't know. You have, like, you look
That's
at that.
why you don't like that song as much as I do, because you don't understand
That's
it
right, yeah.
the
Well,
way that I
We
do.
built the city.
Oh,
on
that song,
rock
Knee Deep in the
and
Hoopla, really?
It's amazing.
Oh.
Such clever lyrics.
What's your guilty pleasure? Do you have a guilty pleasure song?
Oh no.
What is it?
No.
What is it?
No.
Really? You don't have any guilty
Theme
pleasure songs?
from
What?
Pride and Prejudice.
I like
And
most-
zombies.
I like
I want to
um,
see that, by the way.
Do you really? Oh
Well-
God, I can't. No.
Who doesn't love a good zombie movie?
But that's
It's only realistic. It's gonna happen.
It's like Pride and Prejudice and zombies. I don't know. They
I saw
lost me there.
I saw the previews for it, and yeah, I was
Yeah,
like,
no. No.
because it kind of
Maybe if I'm bored one night and it's on, maybe, probably. I mean, I like a good zombie movie, but I just like Pride and Prejudice and zombies. Like, what?
Speaking of which, The
he doesn't-
Walking Dead starts again this.
Does it
Sunday.
really?
Yeah.
Which one?
The
good
new
one?
season. What do you mean?
No. You haven't seen the prequel one?
Oh, I did see the other one. Yeah, that one wasn't bad. It was different, but
I don't know.
we're just rambling now.
Yeah, we're just talking about shows.
One thing I think is pretty cool about technology. We got a segue. Is you ever heard of Axanar Productions? So I guess if you're a Trekkie, and I'm probably saying it wrong, but it's Axanar Anor. I don't know. I might have spelled that wrong, but Axanar or Azinor. I don't know how to pronounce it. But if you're a Star Trek fan, maybe you know what I'm talking about. Anyway, so people now in their homes with their regular old laptops and computers are starting to be able to do special effects at the level of like studio level. Like, I don't know, think of a studio, Lionsgate or something like that.
Right.
And this company was one of those people that said, we can do this. So the guys sat down and they started working with it, and they started getting really good special effects. So then they said, we can do this pretty cheaply. And they were going to do a whole series of Star Trek for like nothing out of their home. And then they did a Kickstarter. So they ended up getting like about $100,000. But they did basically they want to say, yeah, you can put, $40 million into a movie. If that's, I don't even know what they put into movies now, 80 million, 100 million. But we can do it for, not even, just a small percentage of it and make a pretty damn good thing. And you can watch it. You can Google it. But they're being sued, of course, by whoever owns, I think it's, I don't know.
Star
who it is.
Trek?
Yeah, whoever owns them now are suing them. But it still was kind of cool that these guys could do that just from their home. And the special effects are really interesting.
You saw it?
Yeah. You can go on YouTube and watch it. I mean, if you're into Star Trek, I'm not really. I like the new J.J. Abrams ones, but
Yeah, I like those.
I love those.
but
yeah.
still to watch it and be like, this is way better than they were putting out, back in the 90s. Remember the Next Generation and all that? And these people are doing this just from their own living room, and they're coming up with these just elaborate sets. I thought it was pretty cool.
People are going to be able to come up with entertainment that will make it impossible for me to unglue myself from my television.
Or
Because when you think about it, TV is getting a lot better. But or what?
or through podcasting. That's what happens with this, isn't it?
It's a dead
Actually, I
media.
am a little bit addicted to podcasts. I have a problem.
Podcasting.
What's that?
I love podcasts.
Oh, you like
Serial. Have
doing
you
it?
listened to Serial yet? I love doing. I love listening. Yeah, it's an addiction of mine. Serial's a great podcast. They go through. The first one was a murder.
We talked about this last time.
Did we?
Did we?
Yeah.
Oh,
It was
I
great.
Listening.
Asshole. Anyways, yeah. So we talked about frozen brains, robot thoughts. I don't know, Moses. What do you got? Anything? Do you know Earth is actually 2 planets? I just cut you off. You got anything?
What
Yeah,
was
it is.
that?
Yeah.
I didn't even read it because I thought that's not anything.
No. When they crash, that's why we've got the moon, is because 2 planets collided together, and what made the Earth is actually bigger when it has a iron core, isn't it? Or is it? Yes.
Say it again.
Like that's why you say why we have the iron core.
Well, what happens is a planet is made because of mass and gravity. So you have a group of rocks that come together, dust, gases. Look at
I guess
Jupiter.
that makes sense. Yeah.
And they all come together and they the closer to the center, the more dense you are. And that's kind of how it works. So a planet, that's why I think it's so funny when we think we have problems, like all this issue about the politics that are now, and people are arguing over this and that. And there's hashtag activists and social justice warriors, and everyone's freaking out. And 4 billion years ago, a planet slammed into ours. Just boom. 2 planets got in the way of each other and slammed into ours. And they originally thought that it kind of glanced and chunks of it made the moon and some of it stayed here on Earth. But now they're saying, no, it was a direct impact. And, when you have 2 planets that collide, a chunk flew off and became our moon. And the rest of it was just engulfed in Earth. So, it was kind of 2. The name of the planet is it's like Thea or something.
Wait, they
like that.
named it?
Yeah. They named the planet. I don't know. I thought it was kind of cool because what they did is they took oxygen isotopes off of the moon and took them off of Earth, and they're identical. There was no variation in them. And they say the only way for that to be is if the moon came from the Earth. Or
vice
somehow.
versa.
Yeah. And a glancing blow, they said, wouldn't create the moon, but a direct impact would have. Isn't that crazy?
That is interesting.
That's
That
why
is
you
crazy.
can't. That's why one of the biggest messages I have with my podcast is you just can't sweat anything. I mean, you try not to. People sweat like, I got a scratch on my car and all that.
Yeah.
And you're like,
That stuff I don't sweat, but I
Yeah.
still sweat shit.
Like
Like
what?
I hear these are good rationale. Like I totally, everything about the earth is so insignificant. Everything that I do is so insignificant, but I will know that and still sweat shit. Like I sweat shit today. I sweat shit yesterday. I
What?
sweat shit all the time.
you're sweating fecal
I
matter.
know this
You better
sounds
have that-
really gross. Why am I saying it like that?
Yeah, you can't people who say like, oh, life's too short and blah blah. Well, it's my life, and there's stuff that pisses me off. So
Well,
I
our
gotta
brains,
deal with
our
it,
brains can only work on that level. That's how we're here. Evolutionarily, that's how we're here because you have to worry about things like the scratch in your car. I know evolutionarily.
No, you don't have to worry
there's-
about a scratching.
Well, no, I'm saying, but it's okay to because I know the car wasn't part of us in evolution, but it's triggering something in our little monkey brain that had something to do with that. So like these little glitches that we have and these little like you want your house and you match things and that's all like ingrained in us. It's coming out in a different way, through IKEA versus, I don't know, dragging in a rock to put in the corner of your cave. But you know what I mean? It's connected there somewhere. Like the things we do now. So yeah, I'm kind of going, you can't sweating it. You try not to sweat it, but if you do, it's just the way we're made. Does that make any sense?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think there has to be a person out there who learned how not to sweat it. And I think they're usually Buddhists.
Yeah.
I mean, people who've been meditating a lot.
Or had a lobotomy. They don't sweat stuff.
No. They're just, I think they're like the equivalent of just high all the time.
Yeah.
Their frontal lobe is just mixed up. And
I mean, you've got to sweat stuff where you just don't care.
yeah, and then your house gets repossessed and.
Well, I mean, how do you define sweating stuff?
Well, that's the thing too.
Sweating if you don't care about your car getting scratched, then your mind is in the right place, in my opinion.
Your car, your truck,
Mm-hmm.
you put that scratch there.
So you're trying to
Yes.
flame me. It's a truck. I put it there.
I know, right?
I was doing man
Exactly.
stuff, not
I
watching
marked it.
chick flicks. I was out fighting bears.
That's right. I hit them with my truck.
And I was digging holes with my shovel and my sledgehammer.
Not all tools have to be the sharpest in the shed. Suppose you need a sledgehammer. Think about it.
Yeah.
Think about it.
Exactly.
There's a guy on Twitter that He's Captain Obvious. I've been following him. He's hysterical. All his things are obvious, and that's one of the things he said the other day. He's like, you don't need to be the sharpest tool in the shed. Sometimes we need a sledgehammer. All right. Well, that was fun. Did we hit everything you want to hit? I mean, you drive all the way out here, Savanna. I want to make sure that,
I should do FaceTime. I should, but I'm not. I have to be in person.
Yeah.
My job, everything is virtual.
Yeah.
I cannot stand it.
Well, I was thinking about that. I'm like, we can do FaceTime, but I just assumed you enjoyed coming out here and hanging out.
Yeah,
we don't drink,
different.
though. There's some booze right there. I should have...
I really need to drink because I feel like the words would flow a little bit more easily. And I actually had a friend who agreed to drive me out here.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And then I was like, no.
Bring them along.
I felt too weird. I was like, it would be really weird if I showed up with my driver.
We've had that.
Really?
The psychic showed up with her driver, and he got shit-faced. Yeah. I don't remember what episode it was. Look up. It's Sherry Lassiter. What's that?
She drove home?
I don't remember. But it was fun. So we had this episode, and there was like 15 of us packed in here. And there were so many of us. We had people on the couches and whatever. It was a fun show. And when I recorded, so I was saying the other night, when I recorded my intro to my last show, it was like just me in here. And I was like, so lonely. I like to have a group of people. It makes it more fun. Plus it gives us stuff to talk about.
Well, I should have brought more articles. I feel kind of badly.
No, we've just done an hour and 10 minutes.
Oh, okay, good. I was
blew
like,
by.
oh,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah, and I talked about everything I had on there. So let me try, just in case the first one didn't work out, let me try the last one.
Okay.
So everyone, thanks for listening to the Wait What If podcast. Savanna, do you enjoy audiobooks?
Oh, yes, Kevin.
You
I
do?
love them.
Moses, do you like audiobooks?
Absolutely.
So do I. In fact, I just listened to Magician of the Gods by Graham Hancock. There's a list of books that you have to read. If you like to think about things that are like deep, you have to read certain things. Like Sex at Dawn, big one you have to read. The Richard Dawkins, what's that big one? The
God Delusion.
Well, is that Dawkins or is that
That's
Hitchens?
Dawkins.
Is it God Delusion? No, there's one, the Selfish Gene.
That might be Richard Dawkins as well.
That was a big one to read. There's just a lot of cool books out there. Anyways,
It might not be, but I mean, if you go to Audible, they'll tell you exactly.
Audible has
who wrote that.
180,000 titles that you can choose from. Here's the thing: when you in grad school, and I assume that you had the same problem, you just read. You just read so much. I was just reading hundreds of pages a night, and I used to be able to. I don't know how I did it, but I used to be able to sit there from the brain and draw out the entire central nervous system, where everything went, all the different ganglions and all this crap. Wow. And I feel
like you're bragging now.
It ruined. I had to in order to pass PA school, but it ruined my joy of reading. Now I start reading, I get 10 pages in, and I'm like, let's see what's on TV. And this has been 2 years now. I don't know if I'm ever going to get it back. Now, 20 minutes to work, I just throw on Audible and I have someone else read to me. And sometimes the authors will actually read it to you. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So if you're interested in listening to Audible or trying Audible, go to audibletrial.com/WWI podcast. You'll get a free 30-day trial. You get a free audiobook. So here's the best thing about it. Even if you don't want to do it, you're like, Kevin, I don't want to do Audible. You get a free book. So there's 15 hours of pure enjoyment for you. Of course, after the 1 hour of pure enjoyment of listening to the Wait What If podcast. Yeah. But then, and I listen to podcasts and audiobooks stuff when I work out, when I drive. I just listen to it all the time. Because the stuff, when you start turning on like just the regular old crap, like on XM, I'll listen to talk, and it's the same old everything. It's the same old crap. You're like, really? I don't care about this anymore. So you just try to find something that's really cool. And if you want to, people, I'm walking down the street, I'm at the grocery store, people say, hey, Kevin, I like your show. How can I help out your show?
This is the best way.
It happens all the time. And I say, do you know what? Go to audibletrial.com/WWI podcast and get your free trial today. Thanks, everybody.
Sweet. Actually, my podcast.
Hold on, everyone. Come back for 1 second. Savannah's going to plug her podcast. What's the name of your podcast and how can people listen to it?
It's not out yet.
Oh, well, what is it going to be called again?
It's going to be called the Biohacking with Savanna podcast.
What do you guys talk about? Like,
we're going to be talking about all science stuff. Mm-hmm. And I like to talk about biohacking, which I define it as using science, using the latest tools that are available in science to optimize your body and your mind.
Okay.
So,
what type of guests are you going to have on?
Other biohackers.
All right. All right. Authors,
Scientists.
philosophers, scientists. There you go.
Yeah, mostly scientists. No, probably not that many. I like.
Do you have people who've actually done that to themselves?
No, not yet. Sorry.
You got to find them. That'd be really cool.
I will. Well, I'm not really into the people who. Well, I'm sure it's cool, but people who put chips under their skin, I don't get that yet. I don't really have a
if
huge
there's not a
desire
purpose
to do
for
that.
it, then
Yeah.
you're just putting stuff in your body for no reason.
Yeah, that type of biohacking isn't as interesting to me.
Yeah.
But I do like people who, like, for example, I'm really into smart drugs. So there's a compound called piracetam that it's legal, possibly a little frowned upon. It's not like a scheduled substance.
Yeah.
But you can buy it. And it was probably really stupid, but I decided, because I'd heard so many people in the biohacking realm who were taking it, I was like, I'm going to just try it. And I started taking it for like probably around a month. And I really noticed my word finding get so much better.
Is it what do they call that? Iotropic? No.
Nootropic.
Nootropic.
Yeah. So that's the one nootropic that I've used that I thought, oh yeah, that works. I've never used any of the stimulants just because I have a weird reaction to any kind of stimulant. I'll just freak out. My blood pressure will go skyrocket. But yeah, that's one type of biohack that I think is kind of interesting.
And is it going to be available on iTunes?
I'm sure. Yeah.
And
anywhere you can find
Stitcher
podcasts.
Yeah. That's cool. We'll talk after because there's lots of, like, you got to find a hosting site and all that stuff. You know what's really weird? People can get legal drugs that are really, really bad for you that just haven't been scheduled yet.
Yeah, don't anybody just take piracetam because I said to. You got to
what's it called? Piracetam?
Piracetam. Piracetam.
Yeah.
It could be really dangerous. That's why I don't take it.
Yeah, I assume.
I haven't taken it in a while just because I think, well, I'll just take it every once in a while.
Have you heard of, I don't remember the name of it. It's like a leaf that's crushed up.
Kava.
Well, yeah, there's kava supposed to like mellow you out. The other one,
it's really, I think that's the one that I need to, okay, don't take my word for it, but I think kava is the one that could be quite bad for your liver.
Oh, okay.
Really bad. But the leaf, what are you talking about?
It's an it's an opioid, right? Wait, opiate means it's an actual
opioid.
Opioid is like it's an analog to opiate. But I mean, people are like heroin addicts are taking this stuff,
really?
And it's like curing them of their addiction because it hits the mu receptors at high doses, and it's not addicting. Another one of those weird medicines, or drugs, or whatever you want to call it. That I think they're going to try to schedule it, but it's been around for like 10 years, and I forget. Someone was talking about it on Joe Rogan's podcast. I'm like, let me look this up. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So I've heard a lot. This is another reason I'm interested in ayahuasca and ibogaine. Do you want to stop recording? I feel like I kind of feel badly. I don't think we planned to keep talking, but
no, we could. This is good stuff. I like. But yeah, I guess it is kind of getting like, man. We can just do another podcast at some point.
Yeah.
All right. So I'll just edit this in and then we'll do the outro. All right. Bye, everyone.
Forget everything you heard.
That was.
Like us on Facebook.com/WWI Podcast and at WWI Podcast on Twitter. Drop us a line at waitswhatifpodcast@yahoo.com. Listen to us on iTunes, Stitcher, or TuneIn Internet Radio. We hope you enjoyed your listening experience. Now go forth and expand your reality.